along, guys. That fumble wasn't very gritty, Ron Sample says. All right, let's move it along now to little camp update from today. What we did was we're just going to run through and just look at an overview of practice. This got me excited, as you guys can see here. Hopefully, look at our boy out here. Look at not number 81. Look at the background, number 83 back there, gents. Who is that? Savion. Really excited, man. Really excited to see this dude play in the preseason. So
I thought Geronimo was running that little quick slant right
I know
there.
it, right? First thing I thought of too. Yeah. So obviously we got Savion Williams back at practice to a certain extent out there catching balls. I think he could be a sleeper, Jacob. I don't know. How do you feel about him in fantasy, man? I'm sure not a lot of people are on him. Do you think it would be worth it, or do you stay away from wide receivers in Green Bay in fantasy?
No, honestly, Clayton, I shouldn't even say this out loud because obviously I'm in a fantasy league with a bunch of players here, but Savion Williams, and I've heard it from multiple guys that I really trust. He's one of those guys you take with the last 2 or 3 picks in the draft, maybe even the last pick in the draft, because he is the type of difference maker. When you're in a massive pool, especially if you're trying to win these big tournaments in like DraftKings, Prize Picks, Underdog, whatever it may be, you need to do something that differentiates you from like the bulk of that fan base or that contest, for instance. So like a guy like Savion, a very small niche of people would probably have. And if for whatever reason there's an injury or Matt LaFleur is like, I really love this guy, and he's just a touchdown monster, which I really do think he could be and will be eventually. But if it's out of nowhere in this rookie season, that's the type of thing. He can be a league winner. You always look for 1 or 2 players that no one else has, or not the bulk of people have, that absolutely blow up.
Got it. Good stuff. Mike Berry says, "Good evening, everyone out on the pontoon listening to PTA."
Nice.
Man. Let's go. That's how you
need to be right now.
To wind down the summer like that, man. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to fall too, boys. So I can't wait, man. Get the air. I mean, we're supposed to get a little bit. I think we're supposed to get in the lower 60s here soon, Emilio.
Are we?
Yeah, dude. The second it cracks the 50 mark, when it gets into the 50s, there will be smoke coming out my chimney down here in Jones.
We're gonna have like 3 weeks of 90s in September.
We will. You're right. I'll cut the air conditioner on and burn a fire. You know what I'm saying? I ain't scared. So, Jacob, get on your spot there, bud. We got spam in the house.
Oh, I'm watching the game.
Oh my good golly gosh!
Trey Lance just started.
Did he really? That's good. I didn't know he was still around. All right. So Packers practice number 7 breakdown, just a quick overview. Some of this might be repetitive, but we'll just go rapid fire through. I'll pause in segments and get your all's take. Green Bay Packers conducted their 7th training camp practice on Thursday, right? Coach Matt LaFleur stressed the need for composure to prevent penalties in games, highlighting the team's emphasis on executing the little things correctly amid occasional feisty exchanges. Is that what y'all call it down there at the office, Jacob? Feisty exchanges when they
it's more bloody, but yeah.
Oh my god.
Pete, all right,
not like that. They got rings on, man. They got rings on.
It's all good. Injury updates. Speaking of bloody injury updates, here we go. New injuries. Wide receiver Jaden Reed exited midway through practice. The wide receiver Sam Brown left toward the end. Now, I did see a video of Jaden Reed and Dontavion Wicks like competing against each other on the box on the sideline, so I don't think it's anything serious with Jaden Reed. All right, ongoing injuries. Wide receiver Christian Watson, which we talked about with the knee. Running back Marshawn Lloyd with the groin. It sounds like he's probably going to miss about a week. Did you guys hear anything different on Marshawn Lloyd? That's the vibe I'm getting. Is you're looking at about a week, and then hopefully he'll be back a little later in camp. What do y'all think there?
The way Josh was talking, I was watching the Sports Center. They were interviewing Josh and Jordan, and then Rashawn and Kenny. They were just kind of talking. It's going to be not as bad for Marshawn Lloyd. And then when Matt was listening in his presser, he was like, well, and then kind of looked over to the side and he goes, yeah, we're making progress there. I don't think it's going to be too bad. I think you're right. About a week, maybe 2. But yeah, he's running. I mean, dude is just like running through barbed wire, man. That's tough that he just keeps getting caught up on it.
Yeah. So also out linebacker Colin Oliver. Notice it says linebacker there. Why? I wonder why it got picked up like that. Because, again, you guys know how I do this. I go through and comb the interwebs using AI for any information we have on what's going on. That kind of caught my attention a little bit. We haven't heard anything about him playing linebacker, right? And I know he hasn't been. That's one of the things we wanted to see in camp was like, where's Colin Oliver going to line up, right? And he's been hurt, of course. So I don't know. Just keep your eye on that for sure. He's got a hammy in there. Go ahead.
I was going to ask Jacob. Did you listen to the Goody presser? Did he say that they were trying to get him more at linebacker? Were they trying to say that Colin Oliver, they wanted to work him in a little bit more at linebacker? Was that half, or am I just thinking crazy?
Honestly, I don't want to say definitively because I watched a ton of interviews the last few days and they're all kind of blend together. But it kind of worries me that honestly, we haven't seen a lot from him. Like, I haven't heard anything from him. Has he been injured this whole time? Is that what he's doing?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's a spitter bug. Oh. Didn't they say out of the gate he was going to play him at linebacker? That's what I thought I heard. And in one of the interviews, I feel like I heard him say, "Yeah, we're gonna look to run him at linebacker for now." But we do like his versatility, I think, is where Goody was trying to go with it.
I personally hadn't heard anybody say it, but you guys know when we watched the tape, I was kind of leading that charge. Like, man, I wouldn't mind to see him play a little stack, as opposed to just defensive end. So I didn't know if I just kind of put that in my own mind there. Sometimes I hear what I want to hear, if that makes sense. 7-0 Chargers. Deadfish giving us the update there. Appreciate you, Deadfish. All right, returning players. Wide receiver Dontavion Wicks with the calf injury returned, but didn't finish the practice. Left guard Aaron Banks with the back returned. Wide receiver Savion Williams with the concussion was limited to individual drills, as we showed the clip just a second ago. So seems like guys are starting to get a little bit healthy, right? The Jaden Reed thing ain't nothing to worry about. Sounds like Marshawn Lloyd's essentially out for a week, and we should have him back. So I don't know how you guys feel, but I think we're in a really, really good spot when it comes to injuries. Now let's talk about Jordan Love's performance today, okay? Quarterback Jordan Love delivered a solid outing, going 12 of 18 in passing with 1 touchdown. He excelled in the third down period, completing 4 of 6 passes for 4 conversions, including a 15-yard throw to Malik Heath on 3rd and 13, and completions to Luke Musgrave on 3rd and 7 and 3rd and 3, plus another to Heath on 3rd and 2. In the 2-minute drill, Love completed 2 passes for first downs, including a 22-yard gain to McCole Hardman, who continues to flash at camp, on 3rd and 10. But the drive ended with an incomplete desperation pass after he extended the play, with the offense unable to score while trailing 28-21. Another thing I've heard on Jordan Love this training camp, guys, he's looking really good, really mobile, moving around in the pocket. Jacob, that was one of the things we were a little concerned about coming off the injury, obviously. Sounded like Jordan going to be back to the 2023 version where my man was not afraid to scramble and create those secondary windows to get the rock down the field.
Yeah, I think honestly that's probably what I'm most excited about with his personal progression in game. We all know that he can hum that tater. Now I want to see him tuck that tater and take off and, maybe take like 3 to 4 to 5 yards. He just seemed like he was so timid, and I don't blame him for that. Obviously, when you have any kind of leg injury and then a groin injury, it's trust me, I know about groin injuries, guys. You can't always, make a full comeback. Sometimes it takes a while. And with all seriousness, I really do think that when he does have that mobile ability, it's going to be a different type of Jordan Love. Yeah. Hey, Half.
All right. Emilio, the player of the day, though, Luke Musgrave. Everybody was raving over him today. This got me really excited, man, because you guys, I want Luke Musgrave to work out so bad, Tight end Luke Musgrave stood out with 2 key plays in third down period. On 3rd and 7, he secured a perfect pass from Love against tight coverage by Xavier McKinney and Carrington Valentine, controlling the ball while hitting the turf on the sideline. On 3rd and 3, he made a downfield catch by scooping the ball from his ankles. Musgrave praised Love's accurate throws and mentioned his offseason activities, including getting married, starting Pilates with his wife, and attending flight school. He was noted as potentially overshadowed by Tucker Kraft last year, but showing reminder of his talent. Sounded like he had a pretty darn good day. Obviously got married in the offseason. I know there's going to be some fans that jump his rear end on the flight school stuff, but, I don't understand. As fans, I don't understand why we expect these guys to not be able to do what they want to do in their off time.
Right. As long as he keeps his finger away from the propeller, we're good to go. I don't think we're going to have a problem. Seriously.
Every time we say that on this show, Emilio, the listeners go, what the hell are they talking about? Don't worry about it. All right, go ahead.
Inside
it is. And I'm telling you, Luke, I mean, the amount of marriages too, let's just knock those out. I think, it's a busy year for the boys. You get married in the off season, you come in, you have a good season, you make your way to the playoffs, you make your way, you bring the Lombardi home all in 1 year. We'll call 2025 a win. I love that. But yeah, the fact that Musgrave, he said he was talking about trying to get, his base stronger, trying to get his legs stronger, trying to, have better footwork so that he can block better, so that he can, get upfield, help the team, not be on just for passing plays. And he also, knowing the offense better this year, he was talking about they had a zero check where, they were bringing the heat, bringing an all-out blitz, and you lose a guy to that. You have to keep one in to protect. You got to keep the back end or keep the other tight end in to protect Jordan Love, but he's still out there running a route. I got to know what my check is. Am I the hot guy when we go to a zero call? If so, all right, hit my quick slant, hit the drag, whatever, and be that relief valve. But just being able to process that and still make these plays, I'm happy that he's out there and progressing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Jacob, you got anything to add to the Luke Musgrave talk here, man? Anything at all?
I do, yeah. That was one of the interviews that I watched. So I thought I was going to break some really cool news, but nope. Clayton had to steal that thunder from me. The flight school, he stayed in the winter, is what he said. And in the wintertime, he stayed in, did the flight school in the afternoons, and then he worked out with the weights coach. I could get his name. I don't remember if he said it actually in press conference, but then he talked about how he did go on to get married, and then he started working out more closer to home where he was there. But I just thought that was really cool. I personally love the flight school thing. I see the mustache, maybe happening, him maybe looking more Top Gun. Yeah, yeah, man, I'm down.
I'm pretty sure he was working out. Did he say he was working out with Travis Kelce too? Like they were working out with the same guy?
For real?
No, it was McManus. You stole my thunder again, Emilio. Oh.
Sorry, Jacob.
They got some personal trainer, and believe it or not, for whatever reason, Brandon McManus and Travis Kelce have been working in the off season. It was prior to him starring in the filming of like the Happy Gilmore thing, so they said that, oh wow, they both look really great. They look really improved, and yeah, it was cool. It was really, really.
So
weird,
you're saying that McManus
cool.
doesn't
don't listen too much Taylor Swift.
All right, so moving along, play of the day, Romeo Doubs. Wide receiver Romeo Doubs made a spectacular touchdown catch on 3rd and 3, leaping over slot defender Javon Bullard for a 20-yard reception before running the final 15 yards to score. I've seen that. It looked like the throw was a little bit underthrown. You've seen Romeo Doubs turn around, adjust, jump, and then literally reach over top of Javon Bullard and pull it in. Javon Bullard, again, had his back to the quarterback, so it's not like he, you still got to get your head around. You got to try to make a play on that ball, but it's camp. Doubs explained they had practiced the play earlier, crediting Love's touch on the ball and celebrated exuberantly in the end zone with teammates, underscoring the value of celebrating big plays in camp. Offensive line developments. We talked a little bit of this. I'll rattle through it real quick. With the offensive line getting healthier, Jordan Morgan saw increased reps at left tackle, blah, blah, blah. Rasheed Walker started at left tackle for the first 2 series with the starters. Then Morgan took over for the next 3. Sinovich praised for Morgan. I like what I'm seeing from Jordan. I think that's the quote we hit on earlier. So we'll just skip on past that. Practice highlights and drills. Running backs versus linebackers. They featured route/coverage and blitz drills. Christian Welch prevented a deep completion to Amari Johnson. Amari Johnson. Chris Brooks beat Isaiah Simmons on a crossing route. Me no likey that, Jan. Defensive wins by Jamin Johnson and Jalen White. Israel Abanikanda? Anyway.
Abanikanda.
Abanikanda?
Yeah.
Man, you nailed it, dude. Jacob been practicing these names. Abanikanda had a strong protection against Tyron Hopper, who later beat Brooks and was celebrated by Edgerrin Cooper. Josh Jacobs won against Isaiah McDuffie. Emmanuel Wilson recovered after an initial shot from Cooper. All right, young lineman one-on-ones. Anthony Belton had wins against Baron Sorrell, who later countered. Aaron Mosby used swim moves and speed for victories against Belton. So Belton kind of an up and down day there. It sounds like it's just nice to get him into the drills. You know what I mean, Amelia? Because if we don't get Belton out there and get him some reps, we're going to have to depend on your guy, Travis Glover, and I'm not about that life.
Oh, and we're not worried about that if we can get Travis out there. So, yeah, I'm totally fine. But, yeah, seriously, with, we just need to get these guys reps at this moment. As the the games start coming together. Okay, we're going to see. I mean, we're going to get a lot of Travis Glover in the preseason, and I can't wait for it. We're going to be breaking down his tape. We're going to be cutting it up, and
such a douche.
But no, we have a young line. We just need to, make it happen. When I was listening to that the Sports Center thing, Matt LaFleur, he's the most winning. Or they have the most wins since he became head coach in the NFC. The Packers do. So he's, that's consistency. That's showing up, starts at the line, and then it branches out from there. But our young O-line is ready to roll.
Yeah, and with these team drills, Jacob, we got Devontae Wyatt started with the tackle for a loss on Chris Brooks. Rookies Warren Brinson and Nazir Stackhouse performed well, with Stackhouse stopping Amar Johnson on a run and Brinson recording a tackle for loss and pass rush. Before receivers sideline, Reed, Wicks, Savion Williams, and Brown. Young receivers Cornelius Johnson and Julian Hicks stepped up. Hicks caught deep crossing routes from Malik Willis and Taylor Elgersma. Johnson's catches were highlighted by Malik Heath. Man, Malik Heath's a dude. I think he's making this roster, man. I don't know. Jacob, he took advantage of every opportunity he had last year when you think about it. And then you go back 1 year prior where he couldn't crack the 53, and he caught essentially what should have been the game-winning touchdown against the Giants on the road. Like, I don't know how you feel about Malik Heath, but that's a dude. You have a third and six play, and you got Malik Heath isolated in man coverage. I like my chances of Malik Heath bringing that ball in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And I've been a Malik Heath fan since we saw him literally blocking the guy to the water cooler, and just the aggressiveness that he played with. I thought, wasn't he an Ole Miss guy, if I'm not mistaken? And just the way that he came in, he had a cockiness about him, but he backed it up. He's very physical. I think that, again, that's a guy that I would say he'd be a number 2 or a number 3 on many teams in the NFL. I really do believe that. So now I'm just worried that he won't make waivers or make the practice squad and all that kind of stuff. So we've got a lot of guys. I think Cornelius Johnson has shown that. I think that Julian Hicks for multiple years now has shown that he's a guy that can hang in the NFL. So I really did mean what I say when we have practice squad / UDFAs / waiver wire guys that come out of nowhere and just absolutely perform here in Green Bay. So I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
No. All right, new linebacker Jared Bartlett signed Wednesday. Stopped running back Israel Abanikanda. Got it.
Yes.
All right. I had to go back to Daryl's pronunciation there. Abanikanda. So it was signed last week for a short game. Defensive ends Lucas Van Ness and Rashawn Gary pressured Love on consecutive plays. Van Ness was active, and Gary beat right tackle Zach Tom in one-on-ones. So that fires me up. What is going on with Jacob right now?
I think Jacob's tweaking.
Jacob's mute button is just
going off. He must have set his headset down on the mute button and then ran into the other room to check and make sure that he had his outfit for tonight. But
unbelievable. Hey, let's take him off for just a second in case something goes awry. We may hear gunshots over there, and I don't want it to be live on the stream. You know what I mean? So, all right, next. So LVN and Rashawn Gary obviously having a pretty good practice. I love Gary beating Zach Tom one-on-one. We know what Zach Tom is. We know I personally know what Gary is, but it's just nice to see him winning those one-on-ones and knowing he's going to pick up where he left off last year. Quarterback Taylor Elgersma struggled in individuals but completed notable passes under pressure, including a bullet to Johnny Lumpkin and a sideline catch to Cornelius Johnson. Of course, kicker Brandon McManus, guys, streak's over. He finally missed a kick. He was 5 of 6 on field goals today. So, I mean, he's something like – he's kicked – I want to say there's over 30 attempts now, or right at 30 attempts. He's only missed 1. That's pretty impressive.
Mm-hmm. And he was talking in his presser. He said that one was probably the best one that he had hit too. For the whole camp. And so you just never know with that. But I love how in his presser he was talking about being 100% business when it's when he gets out there. Yeah, he's cutting it up with Danny and Matt Orzic and having the time. They have a lot of time off when they're working, not doing that. But he said once I step out there, I'm going to make that kick. It's all business. Again, he's happy that I think this is one of the first times where he's got the same crew coming back, so he's got Dan Holden. Dan knows where he wants it to be tilted with the win, without, how far we want that spun, again, the same snap. So all that is huge. the consistency, the repetitiveness. And I'm glad that we've got that squared away. I mean, kicker talk was fun last year, but I'm much more interested in, we can talk about Travis Glover making the roster a lot more than we can going through this wash of kickers. So I'm happy with it.
Could not agree more. J. Cole says, damn it, now we need a new kicker. So there you go. All right. Rapid fire one-on-one drill outcomes, okay? And this is from Paul Brettle's notes. So shout out to Paul Brettle. I read his article earlier, and he had a bunch of notes and one-on-ones. I believe that's who I got this from. So I want to give credit where credit's due there. Kingsley Enagbare beat Rasheed Walker. Kenny Clark beat Jordan Morgan. Monk beats Wooden. All right, so Jacob Monk with a solid rep there against Wooden. Carl Brooks beat Sean Ryan. Alexander beat Telford. Ryan beat Brooks. Cox beat Tom. All right. Jeez, Pete. Walker beats Enagbare. All right. Wooden beats Monk. So there's a rebound there. So they're kind of, each got a win there. Wyatt beats Jennings. Kraft beats Williams. Brown beat Junior. Milton beats Shepard. Hardman beats Bullard, which it sounds like Hardman. I haven't heard anything negative from Hardman all camp long. I don't know about you, Emilio, but seems like he's having a pretty good camp. Then Heath beats Haddon, Kamal Haddon. Fitzpatrick beats Anderson. So that's just rapid fire, some of the one-on-ones there.
Mm-hmm.
Anything you want to add to that at all before we get ready to wrap up here?
It's a battle. I like seeing the offensive guys win this one just because one-on-ones like that, it's really set for the defense. You don't have a guy next to you. You don't have help, so you can go two ways. You can really set them up. The battle between Monk and Wooden, good. And, the fact that